Hey, welcome back, everybody. My name is Dennis Brown. I'm the host of the Freight Broker Bootcamp Live. I do these live trainings every single week. And this week, I'm going to be doing a training. I'm going to share with you 6 sales conversation starters that every freight broker and freight agent should know. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But you joined me early. So congrats. Thank you very much. And for joining me early, you're going to get a chance to win some cool prizes, maybe a little bit of cash, maybe a t-shirt. Depends on how much time we have. I am going to start the training promptly at noon, and which is about 15 minutes away. In the meantime, we're going to do some giveaways, okay? So without further ado, I'm going to do some giveaways. So pay close attention. I'm waiting for a few more people to get live, and you guys are going to get maybe a t-shirt, maybe some cash. Usually I give away 50, 100 bucks early. And all you got to do is follow some simple steps in order to get that. So who wants to win some money? Who wants to win some money or a shirt? Which would you prefer, cash or a shirt? Hit me up in the comments. Let me know, cash or a shirt. Let me know what you guys would prefer. If you're, sometimes I'm surprised because, believe it or not, this t-shirt is the very coveted Freightpreneur t-shirt. It says, someone who solves problems you don't know you have in ways you can't understand. And I've given away, I've probably given away 100 or more of these shirts over the last year or so. And so these shirts are very popular. And obviously cash is always popular, especially around this time of year after everybody's already drained their bank account from the holidays. So, all right, I'll take the cash or the shirt, Queen Bee says. All right, cool. All right. Extra large. All right, cool. All right, so here's what you got to do. I'm going to do a quick giveaway. Let's start with the giveaway. The giveaway, for those of you who here is subscribed to my Freight Broker Bootcamp podcast, hit me up in the comments and let me know, are you subscribed to my Freight Broker Bootcamp podcast? You can listen to it on Apple, Spotify, wherever you're at. Let me know if you are already subscribed. For the people that are subscribed, let me know how many people that are on here are already subscribed. Okay, so we got a few people. Let's see. Who else is subscribed? Hit me up in the comments. I'm going to try to do a giveaway specifically for you. Okay, so are you subscribed? Okay, so good. Okay, so we got quite a few people subscribed. All right, so this is for people that are already subscribed to the Freight Broker Bootcamp podcast. I don't care whether you're subscribed on Apple or Spotify or Google or wherever you're subscribed. Here's all you have to do in order to qualify to win 50 bucks. Okay, so I'm going to give one $50 prize away to anybody to a random person who follows my instructions. Here's all you got to do. Go to your phone. Okay, and open up the podcast app wherever you're at. I'm on Apple, right? Go to Apple, right? And go to the podcast. And you can see that there's a recent podcast there from today that was published. So all I want you to do is to go in and share that. Click the 3 little dots and it's going to share. And when you click share, you're going to be able to send a text. Okay? Send a message, click messages. And what I want you to do, I want you to send the podcast to 3 of your friends, at least 3 people via text. You can put all 3 of them in there. They'll fill in from your address book. You just type in their name, Joe or whatever, and it'll start filling in. It'll form fill everything. And then you can just pick your 3 friends who you think might be interested in checking out the podcast. Okay. That's all you got to do. Go to the podcast, wherever you're listening to it, click on share the podcast via text with 3 people. Okay, at least 3 people. Do that. Come back into the comments down below and let me know that you did that. Let me know that you shared. And all you got to type back in here is shared via text. Shared via text. Shared text. Just say shared text. Okay, and that's going to let me know. But you have to type that in the comments. If you don't type that in the comments, you can't just say done or I did it or whatever. You got to say shared text. That's what I'm going to look for when I randomly pick somebody to give the 50 bucks away. So this will take you literally less than 1 minute. Okay. All you got to do is pull up the podcast. If you're already subscribed, great. If you're not subscribed and you're smart, subscribe to the podcast really quick and then do it because you're already subscribed. So you automatically qualify. Okay. That's all you got to do. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe and then share via text. So you got to send it via text, okay? I don't want you to share it on Facebook. I don't want you to share it anywhere else. I want you to share it via text. Text 3 friends. 3 friends to check it out and just say, hey, check this out. And then boom, send them a link to the podcast where they can check it out. They're going to get it on their cell phone. It's going to pull right up in their podcast app and boom, there you go. Okay. So that's all you got to do. Come back in like Jack Rich did and say shared via text. Very good. Thanks for following instructions, Jack. So let's see what else we got. Gustava, great. Veronica shared. Global shared. Great. Okay, Steven, you can come back at noon if you want. If you're not interested in the giveaways, great. You can exit out if you don't enjoy what we're doing here and come back at noon. The training starts at noon. As I said, this is an early promotion giveaway up until noon, okay? So sorry you're not interested in this, but you can exit stage left if you prefer. All right, so shared, again, don't say shared via text. It's the only way that I'm going to pick you. If you just say shared or you just say texted, I'm not going to pick you. Okay. You're not going to be a part of the drive. You have to follow instructions. This is important. Shared via text. Okay. And if you just subscribed, great. Now you got to make sure you shared via text in order to qualify. Okay. Subscribing is not going to get you as a part of this contest. That's not the only thing. You have to share this via text. Okay, good. I've said it enough. So we're going to give it about 1 more minute and then I'm going to randomly pick a winner and then we'll try to do another giveaway if we have time, which we should have time for 1 more giveaway. I'm going to do 1 more minute here. Then we're going to do another giveaway. Then we're going to start the training at noon. Okay. All right. Let's see. Shared via text. Now, you guys promised this is an honor system. You have to share it with 3 people via text. Okay. The podcast, the Freight Broker Bootcamp podcast. Okay. All right, cool. And again, this is an honor system. I'm not going out and checking. There's no way I can validate this, but I'm trusting that you're honorable. And I will be honorable and I will send you your $50 within typically within 24 to 48 hours. All you got to do is end up sending your PayPal email if you win, and I'll send it to you via PayPal. Okay. I've done this. I've given away thousands and thousands of dollars last year from these different types of promotions. So, all right, cool. Here we go. So I'm going to randomly pick a winner here. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to scroll through the chat box. And whenever I land on somebody that followed the instructions, like Gustave Zongo, shared by text. So Gustavo, listen, one thing this doesn't apply to that. So that's great. So Gustavo, congrats for winning the $50. Okay. You got a $50 prize coming to you. Here's all you got to do to claim your prize. Go to the Freight Broker Bootcamp Facebook page, Freight Broker Bootcamp Facebook page, and send me a message. I need your name. I need your PayPal email so I can send you the $50 and let me know that you won the shared by text $50 contest. Okay. You won the shared by text $50 giveaway and you got to send me your full name and your PayPal email. That's all you got to do to claim your prize. All right. Congratulations. Thank you for playing along. All right. So we'll do one more quick giveaway. All right. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to, let's see, we're going to do, okay. Here's all you got to do. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. All you got to do is go to that URL, youtube.com/freight brokers. That's my YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button and then make sure you hit the little bell to get notified whenever a new live or whenever a new training video comes out. I put new training videos out every single week. There's over 100 free training videos on that channel that I've done over the years. And the channel's growing like crazy. I think we get over 50,000 views a month on that channel now. We've got over 35,000 subscribers. And all you have to do in order to get a chance to win $50, I'm going to give away $50 to one random winner that I'm going to select. And then after you subscribe, what I want you to do is I want you to come back in here and type subscribed YouTube. That's all you got to do is put that in the comments and you will get a chance to win. Okay. All right. So go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/freight brokers. You'll see an image at the top with my bald head, so it'll probably stand out. and you subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit the little bell to get notified, because if you just subscribe, you won't get notified. Okay. It'll just randomly show up in your feed. But if you want to get notified whenever a new training video comes out, just hit that little bell and boom, you'll get notified every time a new video comes out. And then come back in here and type subscribed on YouTube. And I'm going to pick one winner who's going to get $50. Okay. That's all you got to do. So I'm going to grab a drink while everybody does that. And again, this is an honor system, peeps. I'm trusting you. There's no way I can validate it. I'm counting on you to tell the truth. But if you win, and then I ask you on the back end to take a snapshot to show that you're actually subscribed and you're not, it's probably not going to go very well for you. Okay. So make sure you're honorable. I promise you, every single person that's ever won a contest has gotten their money or gotten their shirt or gotten their prize. And that's my promise to you. So just promise that you're going to keep your word on the front end. Okay. Well, let's see how much time we got. We got a couple minutes. So we'll give it another minute for people to subscribe on YouTube. All right. Yes, exactly. The bell is going to notify you so that you don't miss the video, because just because you hit the subscribe button doesn't mean you're going to get notified. It just means that the videos will probably show up somewhere in your feed, but that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to see them. Okay. So you do have to hit the bell. All right, good. All right. So we got, yes, Steven, training starts at noon. Once again, starts at noon. This is just the giveaway. Okay. So you got a couple minutes. All right, cool. All right. So here we go. I'm going to give away the $50 for the YouTube subscribe. You got 10 seconds. All right. Here we go. Ready. I'm going to pick one winner for the $50 for the subscribe on YouTube. And the winner is Tia Bird. Tia Bird. Congratulations, Tia. Here's all you got to do to collect your $50 prize. Go to the Freight Broker Bootcamp Facebook page. Message me your full name and your PayPal email. It's the only way I can send you money. Okay. Message me your full name, your PayPal email, and let me know that you won the YouTube subscribe $50 contest, the $50 giveaway. Okay. The YouTube subscribe $50 giveaway. And I'm going to send you your money via PayPal. Again, just go to the Freight Broker Bootcamp Facebook page. Message me your full name and your PayPal email, and I'll send you the $50. Congratulations, Tia. Thank you, everybody, for playing along. Again, if you didn't win this week, don't worry. Come back next week. Maybe I'll give away a shirt for those of you who stick around to the end of the training. I think I did that last week. If you stick around to the end, I'll do one giveaway of a free t-shirt. But you got to stick around to the end of the training in order to qualify. Okay. All right. So we're going to get started here at noon. Let's just let a few more people get live because that's the actual time that the training starts. I suggested anybody who doesn't want to participate in these giveaways, don't show up early. It's okay. You can show up at noon. There'll be just a couple minutes to let everybody get live for the actual training, and then we'll start. You don't have to come on early if this isn't of interest to you. If you want a chance, to chat with me a little bit, if you want a chance to win some prizes, coming on 15 minutes early is the way to do it. I typically do that almost every week lately. So a lot of people are enjoying it, so I've continued to do it. But here's the cool part. Today, I've got a lot of notes, okay? Multiple pages of notes here, okay? Because I am going to be sharing with you, for those of you that are just joining me, I'm going to be sharing with you 6 sales conversation starters that every freight broker and freight agent needs to know. Now, for most new freight brokers or people that are new to sales, starting a conversation can be, as I described in an email, painful and scary, right? What do I say? How do I, the problem with most new salespeople is they talk a lot. They have a tendency to vomit on their prospects, and it becomes a very one-way conversation, and the prospects don't dialogue with them. And then there's that silence that nobody speaks, and then all of a sudden the call ends. Okay. So today we're going to talk about conversation starters. But before we do that, let me know in the chat box where you guys are logging in from. Hit me up with a city and state you're logging in from. I'd love to hear from you. I'll try to give a few shout outs. Again, it's noon right now, so we'll do a few shout outs for people that are joining this training. I'm in the Buffalo, New York area, lifelong residents. Some of you on here may be from Buffalo. You may be from Western New York. You may be from Canada or Central America or from God knows where, the UK, Australia, Asia. I mean, we have people from all over the world that log on from time to time and be a part of this training. The bulk of the people here are from the US and Canada. So let me know, give me a heads up where you guys are watching from. Give me the city and state in the comments. I'll try to do some shout outs and then we'll get the training started. Okay. All right. So we've got Fabio from Miami, Florida. We have, we got Brenda from Congrad. Oh, we got Stormy from Kansas City, Kansas. We got Queen Bee from Indianapolis, Indiana. We got Gustav from Colorado. We got Dale from Franklin, PA. Eric Val from Valencia, California, as always. George from Raleigh, North Carolina. We got Winfred from Durham, North Carolina. Mohammed from Seattle, Washington. Iris from Los Angeles, California. We got Stephen working overseas in Iraq, living in South Carolina. We got Charlie Davis from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Brenda from Delaware. Kwanzaa from Houston. Talika from Alabama. Jack Rich from Cleveland, Ohio, which is not far from Buffalo. Global Blueprint from Houston. Evie from Chicago. Talika from Montgomery, Alabama. Vantage Freight Solutions from Dallas, Texas. Don Parker from Orlando. Mr. 123 from Baltimore, Maryland. John Killingbeck from New Jersey. Welcome. Larry Ferentz from Vancouver, British Columbia. There's our Canadian counterpart over the border. Jeremy from Shreveport, Louisiana. Cynthia Moore from Maryland. Danny P from Crystal Lake, Illinois. Jen Box from San Antonio. Tamara from Virginia. Welcome. Anthony Tyler from Charleston, South Carolina. Blessed Logistics from Maryland. Brandon B from Louisville, Kentucky. I'm sorry. Amerifreight Enterprise from Atlanta, Georgia. And I have no idea. Tita Lala from Orlando, Florida. Sorry if I murdered your name. I apologize. The font on here is really small. The things are running really, really fast. Thank you, everybody, for joining my live. All right. Truly appreciate it. Notice one thing. There was no paywall. There was no credit card. And there was no request to pay in order to be a part of this free training. Now, some of you are Freightbreaker Bootcamp members and some of you are not. So the price of admission is simply this. Hit the like button and then click the share button and share the stream. Let other people know on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or LinkedIn or wherever you want to share it. Let other people know about these free trainings that I do every single week at noon. It costs you $0, and it's how I measure whether I'm going to continue to do these trainings, these Monday trainings, throughout 2022. So if we have a lot of engagement and a lot of people liking and commenting and sharing, I'm going to continue doing these trainings until you guys decide they're not valuable anymore. But in the event that you guys don't find them valuable and you're not engaging, then I'm going to find some other stuff to do. I'll change it up. Who knows where it'll go, but I probably won't continue to do these. So far, things have went really well for the last few years with these lives. I'm really happy with the engagement. But hit the like button and the share button and then share the stream. Let everybody know what we got going on here at the Freightbreaker Bootcamp live training. So, all right. So we did the shout outs. We did the cost of entry, which is the like, comment, share. Now, here's the format. I'm going to do the training. Then I'm going to do a quick giveaway of a free t-shirt after the training, okay, of the Freightpreneur t-shirt. So stick around if you want to qualify for that. Then I'm going to do live Q&A. So I'm hoping that we can be off of here, totally done with everything by 1 o'clock, if not sooner. Okay. So first we're going to do the training, then we're going to do the giveaway, then we're going to do the live Q&A. If you have questions about this training or about starting as a freight broker, starting as an agent, whatever you want as it relates to that, stick around to the live Q&A at the end. All right. So let me grab a quick drink and then we'll get this show on the road. All right. Cool. All right. We got a bunch more people that have joined on. So thank you, everybody, for joining me. Today, I'm going to share with you 6 conversation starters, 6 sales conversation starters that every freight broker and freight agent needs to know. And the reason why this is important, because if you're a new broker or you're new to sales in particular, a lot of people struggle with what they should say. And when they get past how the opening, where do they turn that into a real meaningful, compelling conversation that will help develop rapport and a relationship with your prospect? Now, these conversation starters can happen in a variety of different mediums. The phone is number one, email is number two, and social media is number three. Those are the three primary channels where you can use these strategies and these conversation starters to get the ball rolling. All right. So I'm going to share with you 6 conversation starters. I'm going to share with you a framework of these 6 conversation starters that you can use to start a conversation with virtually anyone. Okay. So I'm going to give these to you in no discernible order, but my favorite, okay, just happens to be a question or a comment related to their LinkedIn profile. So LinkedIn is the world's largest professional networking site. It's a business network. It's kind of like Facebook, but for business. If you're not familiar with it, just go to linkedin.com, check it out. Search for me, linkedin.com/in/Ask Dennis Brown, and you can connect with me personally on LinkedIn. Here's what I'd like to share with you. So a question or something personal about them from their LinkedIn profile. So for example, on their LinkedIn profile, you can see their geography. You can see where they live. You can see their educational history. You can see what LinkedIn groups they belong to. You can see how long they've worked at their current employer, where they worked previously. You can see different social media posts that something they've posted on social media or things that they've engaged with. You can see their interests and hobbies. So it gives you a really strong profile of that individual person as it relates to their business. Now, it does also include some personal stuff in there, but those are examples of things that you can hone in on for specifically for a conversation starter. Again, geography, work history, educational history, things that they're interested in. LinkedIn is one of my favorite places to go before I talk to any prospect, before I send an email to any prospect, before I start doing any real social media engagement with any prospect. I'm going to do a little bit of research, and that almost always starts with their LinkedIn profile. Okay. So using information from their LinkedIn profile as a conversation starter is one of the best ways that I've found to start a conversation. Okay, so that's number one, using LinkedIn as a conversation starter and the data that you can collect from that. I call that data on their profile sales intelligence. It gives you intelligence, it gives you information, it gives you data that helps to move you towards the sale. So you can leverage that data to enhance your conversation, which will help build rapport and increase the likelihood that you're going to be able to do business with that prospect. So that's number one, okay? Number two, questions about a popular piece of content within the customer's industry. So let's say, for example, your niche is the steel industry. So if your niche is the steel industry, you're probably going to be up to date with all of the recent news and information related to the steel industry. So journals, magazines, trade organizations, blogs, podcasts, those are all things related to the steel industry or whatever your niche is, the produce industry, the steel industry, import, export, whatever your niche is, you are going to be educated about that industry. And what you're going to do is you're going to leverage recent news, recent information, or a recent change or piece of content. So for example, say that you're in the steel industry and a new piece of legislation was just passed down from Congress that it will have a positive or a negative impact on the steel industry. Okay. Now, governments do this all the time, right? So they pass legislation and it always has a ripple effect. It either enhances it for the steel industry or it makes it harder. That's a perfect example. Or let's say, for example, there was a major merger between 2 large steel companies or 2 well-known steel companies. If there's a merger, that's a great piece of news. Or say there's some new types of products or innovation that is taking place in the steel industry, right? Those are all things that you can use as conversation starters. Why? Because it's relevant, right? Just like the LinkedIn profile is relevant to the prospect, those changes are relevant to the prospect because they work within the steel industry, or again, whatever niche you decide to choose. So that's the first one was using their LinkedIn profile. The second one was questions about a popular piece of content within the customer's industry or the niche that you're pursuing. Another one is a question about a recent event. Okay. So a recent event within that would be relevant to a prospect might be an industry trade show, right? So a trade show that just took place or is going to take place. Or let's say, for example, there was a new product launch, right? A competitor launched a new product, or the company that they work for launched a new product. So those are examples of an event, something that happened, right? Something that's relevant, something that's contextual to that prospect, okay? So you could question about a recent event. That's number 3. Number 4, a comment about something the customer recently did. Now, this is a little bit different. So in order to create a conversation starter around something that the prospect recently did, you're going to have to do some research specific to them. And the best way to do that is using social media. So for example, their Twitter, if they're on Twitter, things that they're posting, liking, or engaging with on LinkedIn, their Facebook profile, right? Instagram, things of that nature. So you can do a little bit of research about the prospect outside of LinkedIn on other social media channels. Now, there's a fine line here where it becomes gathering sales intelligence versus what do they call it? Stalking, right? I don't want you to be a stalker, and you have to be careful that you don't get too personal with this type of a starter. But for example, if you notice that on Instagram, they posted a picture about a recent ski trip, that makes for a great conversation starter. Okay. Now, if that's 6 months old, it probably doesn't, unless you maybe it was a year old and now the ski season's here again, you could tie that loop. But ultimately, something on Instagram that's relevant, maybe it was their birthday, maybe they recently just got engaged. You congratulate them on that. I mean, you got to make sure you don't get creepy, but at the same time, you need things that are relevant to your prospect, make great conversation starters. So do a little bit of research about your prospect on other social media channels, and you'll be surprised the open doors that are there for you to knock on and develop a real meaningful conversation, okay? Because again, this is things that you're going to be different than what other salespeople are talking about. Very rarely are salespeople going to have these types of conversations. It's usually very dry. It's usually very self-centered, and it's all about them, and it's never about the prospect. So notice all the conversation starters that I've given you up to this point are about the prospect. It's relevant to them. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with my service. It has nothing to do with my business. It has nothing to do with my customers. It has to do with them, right? That's the most important. You need to make it about them, okay? All right, so that was number 4. Number 5, a question about the customer's job role, okay? So you can see on LinkedIn what their job role is, what they did prior, and what they've done in their prior business experience. So you could talk to them about their current job role. So for example, you could use a question like, so what are your biggest goals for 2022? Right? That's specific to their job. Or what are your biggest what do you see as your biggest challenges in 2022? Right? So what do you enjoy most about your job? What do you enjoy least about your job? Now, you're not going to ask all 4 of those questions. You're not going to, and you don't want this to turn into an interrogation, but those are examples of questions that can start in a meaningful dialogue, and a dialogue that is unusual and different, that is going to allow you to stand out and actually build rapport with that prospect. Okay. So you've heard me say it before, different is better than better. Don't just sound like everybody else. If you sound like everybody else, prepare to get the Heisman, okay? Because that's what you're going to get. You're going to get you're going to get hangups if you sound like everybody else. You need to be different. And these are some ways that you can have interesting and compelling conversation starters that actually work, okay? So that was number 5. Number 6, a question about a recent announcement from the customer's company. So let's say, for example, in addition to LinkedIn, one of my favorite places to gather sales intelligence and information about a prospect is their company website. So you can go to their company website. You can see recent news. You can see recent articles. You can see recent data and information related to the company, new product releases. A new CEO was hired, new customers, new locations. All of this information, all of the news or information related to the company is very relevant and contextual to that prospect because it's how they get their paycheck, right? So the more you know about the prospect, the more you know about the prospect's company, and the more you know about the prospect's industry, the better off you are. And you can use all of those as great conversation starters. Okay. Perfect example. If they had launched a new product, right, you could congratulate them about the launch of this new product and inquire a question and ask a question about it to start a dialogue, right? So that's a perfect example of a relevant contextual sales conversation starter that will actually work. Okay. As opposed to begging for freight or asking to quote or telling them your life story about how you're the greatest freight broker, which never works. Okay. So those are the 6 sales conversation starters, right? And there are many, many others. And in each one of those 6 categories, there's dozens of different opportunities there. And again, this isn't a 2-hour webinar. This isn't a long training. I wanted to design this to keep this very short, to give you a little bit of a taste and a little bit of a starting point. But those are the 6 points where you can have a great conversation starter for any prospect. And you can use, if you're a freight broker or freight agent, these all apply. Again, I'm going to review them very quickly. Question about something personal on the customer's LinkedIn profile. Number 2, question about a popular piece of content within the customer's industry. Number 3, a question about a recent event. Number 4, a comment about something the customer recently did. Number 5, a question about the customer's job role. And number 6, a question about a recent announcement from the customer's company. Okay, so those are the 6 different buckets where you can go to identify information and data and sales intelligence that will allow you to create a compelling sales conversation starter. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, and you're curious about becoming a freight broker or a freight agent, check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com. We've trained over 10,000 students, been in business over a decade, and we have a 60-day, 100% money back guarantee. It's unconditional. For any reason, you can get your money back. So you can try it for 60 days. And if you're not happy or you decide you're not going to go that direction, just send us an email. We'll refund your money, no questions asked. Totally appreciate you guys being here. Again, no matter where you're listening to this, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for being here, and make sure you tune in next week for another Freight Broker Bootcamp Live. All right, guys, that was painless. I hope you guys gathered some information from that. Do me a favor and let me know. Now, this was much more of a sales-related conversation, right? So this was very much geared towards sales, right? And you guys know that sales is a big part of the business, and I do a lot of training in and around sales. Matter of fact, I'm coming up on the end of the cohort for my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, which is my 5-week Freight Broker sales training course, where I take that piece of my brain about sales and I teach my favorite sales strategies, tactics, and my entire system. And that's called my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator. If you guys are curious, now it's closed right now because it's sold out. But if you guys are curious about that, get on the wait list. Okay, make sure you get on the wait list, because if you don't get on the wait list, you're never going to get a chance to get enrolled in this program. Okay, again, it's not a free program, it's a paid program. We've had hundreds of people go through that program now. The rating 1 to 10 on that program up to this point has been a 9.7 out of 10. Okay. So it's my flagship program when it comes to sales. Again, this is different than Freight Broker Bootcamp. Freight Broker Bootcamp is my startup program that gets you started, but the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator is an advanced sales training course. Okay. It teaches you exactly what you need to do in order to scale up your sales and to really grow a 7-figure freight brokerage. Okay. So if you want to get on the wait list, it's absolutely free. Okay. But the only way you'll get a chance to enroll when I open it up, it'll probably open up in another month or two. In the next couple of months, I'll open it back up and I'll open enrollment for another group. But the only way you'll get a chance is if you're on the wait list. So make sure you get on that wait list. Let me grab a quick drink. How many of you have already completed or are already a part of the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator? Hit me up in the comments and let me know how many of you have already either you're in it now, you're in the Sales Accelerator, or you've taken it in the past. I've done 3 cohorts, okay, 3 5-week coaching programs in the last year. And again, the feedback has been amazing. We've had a lot of students go on to get, to start really driving their sales and growing their business. And, we just had really, really great reviews. If you've been a part of that, let me know. So Beth Daniels is a part of it now. Without sales, we have no business. Absolutely. Right. Yep. So if you're part of the Sales Accelerator, let the other people know. If not, again, we've had, just so you know, I've 3 times, it's sold out 3 times. Typically it sells out within about 48 hours. Last time that I did this, the most recent one, I allowed 100 people into the program and it sold out in just a few days. Okay. So we capped it out in just a few days. Okay. So if you're curious about the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, make sure you check that out. Now, if you're not already a Freight Broker Bootcamp member and you're just looking to get started, the best place to start is freightbrokerbootcamp.com. Okay. The Sales Accelerator is kind of a step 2. The Freight Broker Bootcamp is a step 1. Okay. So if you're brand new to the industry, and you don't have a lot of experience, or you don't have any customers, or you don't know the steps to get started, that's where you check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com, right? We are well known to be the most cost-effective, comprehensive online freight broker training program available today, hands down. Okay. All right. So let me get rid of this. All right. So let's do a quick t-shirt giveaway. We'll do a quick t-shirt giveaway. What am I going to have you do in order to qualify for the t-shirt giveaway? Okay. So here's all I want you to do. Let me think really quick. Let me grab a drink. Okay. Let's just make it easy. All right. Let's just make it easy. We got 90 people on here. A lot of people have joined after that. So let's do this. Let's do another YouTube. Let's do another podcast. Okay. Let's do another podcast share. All right. So for those of you that are subscribed to my Freight Broker Bootcamp podcast, if you're subscribed to the Freight Broker Bootcamp podcast, if you're not subscribed, go to wherever you listen to podcasts like Google or Spotify or Apple, find the Freight Broker Bootcamp podcast and then subscribe. If you're already subscribed, here's all I want you to do. Pull up the podcast on your cell phone and then hit those little 3 buttons that give you the ability to share, right? You click on it and share. And I want to share it with 3 of your friends. I'm going to give away $50 to 1 winner. Okay. I'm going to randomly pick 1 winner who shares the Freight Broker Bootcamp podcast with 3 people via text. Once you do that, it'll take you less than a minute. Come back in here into the comments and let me know in the comments that you shared via text. Okay. You shared via text. That's all you got to do. But if you don't just say shared, don't just say text, shared via text. That lets me know that you are someone who's going to be in the drawing for the $50 contest, okay? The $50 giveaway, okay? So go to the Freight Broker Bootcamp podcast on your cell phone and click the 3 dots where you can click share it via text, and then send it to at least 3 people, and then come back in here and let me know that you have shared it, and you will qualify to possibly win the $50 giveaway. I'm going to give away 1 $50 gift. And I will send it to you via PayPal within 24 to 48 hours after getting your PayPal email. Okay. So I'm going to give you 1 minute and then stick around to the end because I'm going to do live Q&A. Okay. So we're going to do live Q&A for anybody who's curious or to stick around, but don't put your questions in the box right now because they're going to get lost. You got to wait until we start Q&A so I can see the questions. All right. All right. So shared via text. Robin Mara Price shared it via text. Thank you so much, Robin. Robin and I have known each other for a long time. Hope you're enjoying the podcast. All right, so this is, again, the Freightpreneur t-shirt. Someone who solves problems you don't know you have in ways you can't understand. This is actually, I was going to give away the t-shirt, right? All right, here's what I'll do. I'll give away a t-shirt and I'll give away $50. All right. So if you share the podcast with 3 people via text, they could be 3 friends. They could be 3 college buddies. They could be 3 people that you work with. They could be 3 relatives. It doesn't matter. Share the podcast with 3 people and let them know. Just say, hey, check this out. Send it to 3 people and come back in here and let me know that you shared it via text. And I'm going to pick one of you as a winner for $50. And then I'm going to pick another person as a winner of a shirt. Okay? So that's what we'll do, because I mentioned both and I forgot this was a shirt giveaway and not a money giveaway, but don't worry. It's not a big deal. All right. So we're going to give it another minute for that, and then we're going to start the live Q&A. And as I said, we will make sure that this is all done before 1 o'clock so you guys can get back to work. And let's see. All right, so who else is going to do it? Okay, so you got 30 seconds to share via text, and then I'm going to pick one winner of the shirt and one winner of $50. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, cool. All right, so here, I'm going to pick one random winner I'm going to start with the shirt. We'll start with the shirt. Okay, so this winner, whoever I pick, is going to win the Freightpreneur t-shirt. All right, and then I will send that to you. It usually takes a week or 2 to get it. All right, so scroll. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to randomly pick somebody in the comments here. And the winner is, nope, not Iris, because I didn't hit the right one. Again, I have to land on the comment that says shared via text. If I land on anything else, I can't pick you, okay? So here is, well, actually it is Iris Yang. I just landed on her shared via text. Iris, you're the winner of the Freightpreneur t-shirt. Okay, all you got to do, go to the Freight Broker Bootcamp Facebook page. Send me a message that says your full name, your mailing address. Again, now you're going to have to be in the U.S. I apologize. I should have mentioned that about the shirt. Your full name, your mailing address, your cell phone number for tracking, and then your size, okay? And let me know your size. And then let me know that you won the Freightpreneur t-shirt giveaway, okay? So I need your full name, your mailing address, your cell phone number, and your size. This is a large. It runs pretty true to size. This is unisex sizing. So, adjust appropriately, right? You can get small, medium, large, extra large, triple large, whatever you want. And I will mail that out to you. We'll get that mailed out to you in the next week or 2. Thank you for playing along, Iris. Thank you for sharing the podcast. So now let's do the $50 giveaway. Now, Iris, you cannot win the $50 giveaway this time. So if I land on you, you can't win it. You won the t-shirt. Somebody else is going to win a $50. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to scroll through, and the winner is Beth Daniels. Beth Daniels won $50. Congratulations, Beth. Thank you for playing along. Here's all you got to do to get your $50. Go to the Freight Broker Bootcamp Facebook page, message me your full name and your PayPal email. I need your PayPal email. You have to have a PayPal email address set up. You have to have an account set up with PayPal. It's free. And then let me know that you won the shared via text $50 giveaway, okay? The $50 contest, okay? The shared via text $50 giveaway. Now, I know I gave one away earlier, and then we're going to do this one as well, but you got to go to the Freight Broker Bootcamp Facebook page, and you got to send me your full name, your PayPal email, and that you won the shared via text $50 giveaway, and I will PayPal you that email within 24 to 48 hours after I get that information from you. Thank you, everybody, for playing along. I hope you guys are enjoying the Freight Broker Bootcamp podcast. I don't know if you guys know or not, but because of you and because of the popularity and because of everything we've done, and you guys are supporting this, the Freight Broker Bootcamp podcast is ranked in the top 100 out of all entrepreneur podcasts on Apple, which is pretty cool. So I'm proud of that. You should be proud of that. Thank you for being a part of the community. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for listening, and thank you for all the rating and reviews on Apple. Really appreciate all the support. Hope you guys are enjoying it. So let's jump into some Q&A. All right. Let's see. Boom. I'd comment. All right. So if you have questions specific to becoming a freight broker or a freight agent or today's training, let me know. Hit me up in the comments, and I will do my best to answer those questions, answer whatever you have, and try to help you on your journey as I grab a drink of my favorite Propel water. All right. Congratulations to everybody for playing along. I like to do these giveaways. Makes it a little bit of fun. Makes it not quite so serious. Okay. And it gives you guys a chance to win some cool prizes. Okay. So here's a question. What's the best TMS for freight brokers? All right. So here's what I'm going to do. Rather than trying to explain it, there is no best, right? There are hundreds of different TMSs out there. Here's what I'm going to suggest you do. Go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/blog. Okay. So you're going to go to Freight Broker Bootcamp. Hold on. /blog. Okay. Here it is right here. Go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/blog. And there's a search bar there in the blog. Type in software, and it's going to pull up a post that gives you all of the software that a freight broker needs, including the top TMSs that I recommend. I think it's got 10 of the top TMSs there that I recommend. Now, there are many others. These are just ones that have been well vetted, have been around for a significant amount of time, they have great reviews. I may know somebody within the company that's made me feel comfortable because I've vetted them myself. I've either used the TMS. Now, just know I built my whole TMS myself, but it cost me over $1 million to build that TMS over time. And so I don't recommend that you build your own TMS. The only reason why I did it was because back when I started in 2003, there wasn't a lot of good software out there. So I had to build my own. There's tons of great software out there now. There's no need for you to build your own custom software to start your freight brokerage. And you can start up very inexpensively. Okay. Software out there is very inexpensive, right? So that's where I would go to get that information rather than me trying to share every TMS here live. Okay. So go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/blog. And then in the search, you'll see, you can search for anything, but search for software. That post will come up. There's a video there. There's a whole list there of software, and you'll be able to check it out. Hope you guys enjoy that. Good question. Thank you. All right. Question. Let's see. Yeah, Jomo, check your email. If you registered for the live calls for the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, you'll get notified every time there's a live call, and I send out a link to the replays. So if for some reason you're not getting those, if you didn't enroll in the live calls as a part of the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, then you need to do that. Otherwise, you'll never get invited to the lives. And then if you want to see the replays, we send them out every single week to every single person that's enrolled and paid for the program. So if you're a paid member of the program, you'll get them. If for some reason you're not getting them, send an email to support@freightbrokerbootcamp.com and ask for the link to the Dropbox folder with all of the replays for the live calls. Okay. And you'll get them that way. Thanks for being a part of the accelerator. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Okay, so here's a question from Vantage Freight Solutions. How can I get shippers and carriers to work with a new broker authority? Okay, number one, most shippers don't know if you're new or not. Okay, now, so if you act new, then you're going to get treated as if you're new, right? If you speak the lingo and you use sound sales strategies and relationship building tools and you gather sales intelligence, you're going to have a great dialogue, right? And you will get customers. What they care about is, do they trust you? So you have to build trust. Whether you're brand new or you're not brand new, you have to build trust, right? So in order for people to do business with you, there's three qualifiers. First, they have to know you. Then they have to like you. then they have to trust you. Know, like, and trust. Those are 3 key components. So with a shipper, that's the sales strategies that I teach in Freight Broker Sales Accelerator. That's sales in general. So you're going to have to learn how to build rapport, build relationships, and build trust. One of the best way to do that is, and I know sometimes it's difficult if you're new, but once you get your first customer, use a testimonial. Get a video testimonial from that customer or a written testimonial from that customer, and use social proof, because that's one of the most powerful ways to build authority, build trust, and get people to do business with you. Okay, so that's on the shipper side. On the carrier side, what you have to do is, again, you have to speak the lingo, but you also have to build your credit quickly. So as a new broker, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to build your credit. So you're either going to use a factoring company, which is going to give them the comfort level that you're going to actually pay them, right? If you're using a factoring company, or you're going to have to build your credit rating on the different load boards and the different credit reporting sites. And the way you do that is to pay your bills quickly, right? I even did a full training. As a matter of fact, if you go on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/freight brokers, and you go on there and you search my channel for how to build your credit fast, I interviewed Elio Longoria, who was a new broker this past year, who grew his credit very quickly. And he walked through a step-by-step process on how he was able to go from no rating to, I think, like a A or B rating in a very short period of time. So he walks through that exact process. Okay. So if you go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/freight brokers, or you go to YouTube and you search for Freight Broker Bootcamp, find the channel, and then search for how to grow your freight broker credit fast. You'll see an entire interview that I did with Elio Longoria, and he walks through the exact process that he did as a new broker to build his credit fast. So I hope that helps. Good question. Thanks, Vantage. Okay. Okay, so here's a question from tomorrow. What if you did the whole spiel to the wrong person? Like, how do we know the right person, director, manager? Okay. Well, the good news about being a freight broker is you don't have to sell to C-level executives, CEOs, COOs, CFOs. Matter of fact, you don't have to sell to vice president level, right? Typically where you're going to sell is to a low-level manager. So it's usually going to be a shipping manager, a warehouse manager, a receiving manager, a traffic manager, a transportation manager, a logistics manager. So you're selling to a low-level manager, which is great because they typically have the authorization to approve you as a vendor and to approve your pricing if it meets certain parameters. So that's the great news. A lot of sales, like when I used to sell software, I used to have to sell to a vice president level or a director level, right? Which is a much higher up in the food chain and is harder to sell to because they're harder to get in touch with. You can sell to a low-level manager, which is much, much easier to connect with and a lot more down to earth and a lot simpler process to get approved as a vendor. Okay, so that's the good news. So I hope that helps. Again, it's typically warehouse manager, shipping manager, logistics manager, traffic manager, transportation manager, receiving manager, right? That sort of stuff. Those are the types of people that you're going to be speaking to. All right, so I hope that helps. Good question tomorrow. Okay, so here's a question from James Jones. Should my website be carrier facing or shipper facing? The answer is yes. Okay, and I'm not being funny. It has to be both. So you have to have your overall company describing what it does, which is relevant to both, and then you have to have some specific information relevant to carriers and some specific information relevant to shippers, right? Because again, you really have two customers as a broker. Your carriers, because if you don't have carriers, you can't move the freight. And if you don't have shippers, you don't have freight to move. So you've really got to entertain both. So it's a good question, James. And so the answer is both. you're going to have to entertain both. You're going to have to market to both. You're going to have to build relationships with both, right? So there's two sides to that coin, and you're going to have to balance those because, again, all the freight in the world without carriers does you no good, but all the carriers in the world without freight does you no good either, right? So you have to balance both. So on your website and all of your communications and all of your marketing, you're going to want to obviously make sure that you communicate effectively on both sides. Okay? Hope that helps. Okay, Elliot, I have zero experience with logistics, dispatching, contracting, or brokering. Would experience in those areas be considered a prerequisite prior to brokering? No. When I started my freight brokerage back in 2003, I had zero experience as a broker in logistics, in trucking, in transportation, none of that. I had zero experience. You probably know more right now than I did when I first got started. Okay, so it's not a prereq. We have many students that join the program who don't have a background in logistics or transportation or trucking. And many of them have went on to have huge success. Perfect example, Yogi Goswami, who's one of the favorite part of people in our freight broker sales, our freight broker paid members, freight broker bootcamp group, which is only for paid members. It's like a private group. Yogi had no experience in transportation. He didn't come from the transportation industry, right? He didn't come from the sales industry. He was never brokering. He wasn't a truck driver. He didn't know anything about it. And he started his brokerage from India. He lives in India, never been to the United States. And now I don't know what he did last year, but I think he did over 10 million in sales last year. Last I checked, I think he was over 5 million, but I'm pretty sure he did 10 million last year because I seen a post in our Freight Broker Bootcamp private members only group for paid members. And he said he's part of the $10 million club. I haven't had a conversation with him yet, but yeah, pretty sure. So, and he started that from India with no experience. And there have been tons of other people that I've interviewed and tons of people that I've spoken to who had no experience in trucking, logistics, transportation, who've went on to start the business, including myself. So it's not a prerequisite. But of course, if you have that background, it's going to allow you to kind of assimilate a little bit quicker. But don't worry, the Freight Broker Bootcamp program is designed to take you from A to Z, from no experience to getting your freight broker authority to starting to get positive cash flow with shippers and starting a profitable business from home. Okay, so I hope that helps. Good question. Thanks. Let me come back to this one. I'm scrolling. Tamika asks, I already went through the steps to establish my brokerage. Do you recommend starting the accelerator training? Well, if you've already went through the process of starting your brokerage, that means that you're now out there doing sales. You're trying to get customers. If you're struggling to get customers, if you're having a hard time knowing what to say, if you don't have an established sales process, right? If you don't understand how to take a sale from A to Z and convert a cold call into a customer, if you're struggling in that area, you definitely want to get on the wait list for the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator because that's what I do in that program, okay? So I'm going to give you guys the link to get on the wait list. If you got to get on the wait list, but right now that program is sold out. It's closed. I'll reopen it in a month or two, but it's closed right now. Okay. So you can't even enroll. It doesn't matter whether you threw $1,000 at me right now, you can't get enrolled. This is the 5th week of the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator. This is the 5th and final week. Wednesday, I do my last Freight Broker Sales Accelerator because it's a 5-week program where I coach them for 5 weeks and teach them my entire system. So we're wrapping that up this week, and we'll probably start another one again in a month or two. So if you want to get on the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, if you want to learn more about it, if you want to get notified when I release it, you got to be on the wait list because it'll sell out like that. Okay. I'm very proud to say, very happy to say, and very honored to say that it sells out typically within 24 to 48 hours. Okay. So the only way you'll do that is if you get on the wait list. Hope that helps. I'm scrolling. Let me find a question here. Okay, let me read this. This is a question. Global Blueprint. Can a carrier go after your bond after they cut you out of the load payment for receiving POD? Shipper sent proof of payment to carrier to my company. Basically, I got used to find trucks for free. Not sure I completely understand the question. It sounds to me like the carrier back solicited your shipper and the shipper paid the carrier direct. Now, I actually did a training recently about the no back solicitation clause. And I think it's on my YouTube channel. Pretty sure it's on my YouTube channel. So you could check that out. But it's extremely unusual, right, for that to happen. Number one, the shipper wants, if the shipper values your relationship, they're not going to backdoor you because it costs the same amount to pay you as it costs them. Okay. So I've never had that situation happen where a shipper went direct to the carrier themselves. Now, I have had carriers in the past a few times go behind doors and try to back solicit the shipper. That's why I went over that no back solicitation clause that you put in your contract, which will help prevent that. Once we put that in our contracts, it rarely, if ever, happened after that. So I'm not sure of all the circumstances surrounding it or what happened with the movement or if there was some sort of issue, but it's very rare that that happens. My suggestion is obviously that when you set up with a shipper, that you make sure they understand where the payment is to go, right? Even if they know who the carrier is, the payment doesn't go direct to them. The payment goes to you. So if it was an unethical shipper or an unethical carrier, it sounds like it might have been both in this case. Chalk it up to experience, tighten things up on the next one, and I'm sure you'll be fine. Stormy asks, is it best to reach the purchasing manager, clerk, or shipping manager first? I never went to purchasing. Okay. I never went to purchasing because purchasing is all about price, and shipping does typically not have to go through purchasing. Shipping can be approved. Transportation can be approved by a shipping manager. Again, a warehouse manager, transportation manager, they don't need purchasing. So I go direct to the person in that department, not to purchasing. It's different. I know that with some products and services, particularly products that you sell, you got to go to purchasing. But in the transportation industry, you go to the shipping manager, logistics manager, transportation manager. Okay. Hope that helps. Good question, Stormy. Thanks. All right. Let me grab a quick drink here as I'm looking. Here's a question from Steven. How do we get from zero to hero? Well, there's no magic button. There's no magic script. There's no magic strategy. What it comes down to is doing the right things consistently over an extended period of time. So very few people are going to get rich quick. There are the exceptions where people will do really well out of the gate and make, $7,000 in their first week, right? That does happen, but it's rare. It didn't happen for me. My first month, we did 12 loads. But by the end of my first year, after doing the work consistently and learning and improving and making changes and evolving, we did over $1.2 million our first year. And then our second year, we did 3.6 million. And then our third year, we did 6 million. And our fourth year, we did 12 million. And it takes time, right? So I understand your question. You want to ramp things up quickly. You want to start making money quickly. And I understand that. But here's the thing. You got to follow the process and you've got to invest your time, your energy, your resources. You have to learn from your mistakes. So there's so much that goes into it. That's the reason why I put Freight Broker Bootcamp together. I had so many people come into me and say, hey, teach me how you were able to build this freight brokerage. And I just didn't have time to do it. So I put a course together and I said, listen, here, just go here. Here's what you need to do. Here's the steps that I followed. Here's the things you need to know and go do this. And I can't promise you anything. Here's what I can promise you. You're going to miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So if you have a dream of owning your own business, or if you have a dream of becoming a freight broker, a freight agent, or working from home, I guarantee you, you're never going to hit that ball if you don't swing. And so take a swing. What do you got to lose? The training is very inexpensive. We offer a 60-day, 100% money back guarantee. If you don't have the money to become a freight broker because maybe you don't have good credit for the bond, become an agent. I interviewed Lita Hakabayan recently, who's a student of Freight Broker Bootcamp. Her second month as an agent, she made over $10,000 in commission in her pocket, right? So trust me, if she can do it, if I can do it, anybody can do it. So thanks, Stephen. Stormy, I can't help you on the asset-based side, okay? The asset-based side for software and cost management, I can't help you. I never ran an asset-based carrier, so I'm not the guy to answer that question, okay? Here's a good question. Does a CDL or over-the-road experience help really understand logistics, especially for a carrier standpoint? Absolutely, 100%. I think people that have their CDL or have driven over the road or own a trucking company or an owner operator, right? If you have any of that experience, I think that helps immensely because number one, who knows better what it takes to pick up and deliver a load on time in good condition with no problems better than the driver who's actually doing it. So your boots have been on the ground and you understand what it takes, okay? Number two, you've been on that dock. You've had conversations with the shipping manager. You understand the lingo. You understand the things that they talk about. You understand the pain points. You understand the challenges of the driver and the shipper side. So that experience is invaluable. I'm a huge believer in if you're looking to get out of the truck or you have a small asset-based company with your owner operator or a few trucks and you want to add revenue, okay, and you want to increase your revenue without having to buy more trucks, you absolutely need to start your freight brokerage because it's the best way to double or triple your revenue without having to buy another truck. Okay. So yeah, I think that experience is invaluable and can go a long, long ways. Okay. So I hope that helps. As a matter of fact, on my YouTube channel, I did an entire training about why do freight brokers make good freight brokers or do truck drivers make good freight brokers? And it's been a very popular video, a lot of comments, a lot of questions. It's helped a lot of people. But I go into a lot more depth right there on my YouTube channel. So hope that helps. Good question, Vantage. Sandra Dixon's asks, is brokerage the same as dispatcher? No, they're very different. I don't teach dispatching. I only teach freight brokerage and freight agent business model, okay? I don't teach dispatching. I've had this conversation a million times. There is some questionable and gray legality about dispatching. The TIA, as well as other organizations, believe that dispatching, independent dispatching, is unauthorized freight brokering without a license. There's a lot of debate going on. They're threatening legislation and new laws associated with it. I don't teach dispatching. I don't promote dispatching. If that's how you're making your money, kudos for you. I have no ill will. Do you. You do you. But for me, I know the opportunity is much bigger on the brokerage side, and I know how to do it legally without any sort of issues. Okay. So freight brokering is where you're controlling both sides of the equation and you're dealing direct with shippers. Freight dispatching is where you're sourcing loads for trucks and you're usually getting those from freight brokers. So there's very little sales in it. So that's what attracts people to it. But the questionable legality is what's prevented me from helping people in that direction because I just don't feel comfortable telling you to do something that might be illegal or might get shut down tomorrow. Okay. So hope that helps. Do you still have your website from when you were broke? I don't have the old website, but you could go to I've sold that company in 2016. So I have no relationship with that company. I have no contacts with that company. I'm not connected with that company in any way, shape, or form, but you could search for Logistic Dynamics and you could pull up their website. That's an example of the website that we used. Now it's changed since I left, but that's an example of a freight brokerage website. Now we operated under an agent business model, so you need to understand that's a little bit different. You may be doing a little bit different business model. So yeah, you could check out Logistic Dynamics. That's the company I started and grew to over 80 million in sales before selling it. Stormy, you don't need an accountant that's specific to the industry. Just any CPA or any reputable accountant in your local area, okay? You can find a very affordable one, I'm sure, in your area. You don't need to have any specialized accountant or CPA for transportation. Any accountant is going to be able to help you make sure that, the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed and the math is correct and you don't get in any trouble with taxes, okay? So you can find any local accountant that has a CPA or has been vetted properly that should be able to help you. You don't need specialized accounting. That's good. How long will it take to become a freight broker? My program, you can become a freight broker or a freight agent in 30 days or less. Depends upon how quick you go through the training and how quick you act on the training. But it typically, from the time that you file for your freight broker authority, it typically takes about 3 to 4 weeks to get your authority. So if you go through the training week 1 and then you get everything filed, you can get that in roughly a month. If you take 6 months to go through the training and then you take another 6 months to file for your broker authority, then it could take you a year. But it's not a long process. It's not a lengthy process. It's not a very expensive process. It's very low cost when you compare it to like a franchise or a restaurant or a traditional startup where you might need hundreds of thousands of dollars as a freight broker. And again, here's what I would recommend. Check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com/blog and type in cost, right? How much is the cost to set up a freight brokerage? And there's an entire post and a video that talks about the cost of setting up a freight brokerage and the cost of setting up a freight agency, and it breaks them down individually, okay? So you guys can check that out. I think that'd be very helpful. Go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/blog and then do a search for cost, and you'll see the article there and the video and the training that I do on that. So I think that'll be really helpful. But yeah, it shouldn't take you very long. Typically from the time you file your application for authority, it takes maybe about 3 to 4 weeks to get that approved and deemed active, and then you're active, right? Then from there, you can broker loads. And if you want to be an agent, it can happen even faster. That depends on you because you don't need a bond, you don't need a license, you don't need any of that. Okay, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for participating. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. Before you leave, hit the like button. Hit the like button right now and share the stream. Give me some love. Let me know if you appreciated this training, and hit me up in the comments with 1 through 10. 1 meaning this was terrible, you suck, Dennis. 5 meaning, it was okay. 10 meaning I knocked it out of the park and you want me to come back next week and do a new training. Let me know in the comments, 1 through 10, how you guys feel. I'm looking for feedback. Don't worry. I've got thick skin. I've been in sales for, it's been 30 years now. I've been in sales, okay? And so trust me, I've got thick skin. I can take it. Be honest. Give me an honest review of this training that we just did and the Q&A and everything, the value that you got from here. And give me a 1 to 10 in the comments below. I appreciate it. I do read the comments. I do come back in here and take the feedback honestly and sincerely. So anything you guys say, negative or positive, I truly appreciate it. Okay. So if you guys enjoyed the training, make sure you hit me up in the comments with 1 to 10. I really appreciate you guys being here again. I've been doing these contests early before the trainings because the training started noon. So if you want a chance to win some prizes like t-shirts and cash and other stuff, then jump on a little bit early next week on Monday and you'll get a chance to win. Congratulations to everybody who won today. Congratulations to you. Make sure you follow the instructions on how to get your cash and or your t-shirt prize, and I will send those out to you. Thank you so much for the kind words. Lots of 10s coming across. Thank you so much. That gives me a reinforcement to want to come back next week. And thank you for all the great questions from everybody. who was in the live here. Totally appreciate it. If you're catching this on replay or I didn't get to your question, type the question in the comment box and I'll try to come back in the next week to 10 days and try to reply to your question in the comments. And for some reason, if I don't, make sure you come back next week and ask that question. And I will do my best to absolutely answer that for you. Again, appreciate you guys being here. See you next week. Have an awesome week. Have a profitable week. Welcome to 2022. This is the first live in first of many in 2022. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next week.